Joe Biden is falling apart. This fabrication is finally unraveling. In this video, we're going to take a look at the disastrous interview on ABC News. We're going to see how more and more pundits are openly questioning his cognitive health. And stick with me to the very end of this video because we're going to see why those rumors about Kamala and the 25th are getting louder by the minute. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. I am your daily fake news antidote, offering patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and insane times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we jump into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's Collagen, available at my special website, healthwithsteveturley.com. Now, if you don't know, many health experts agree that consuming collagen helps to renew and revitalize how you look and how you feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body. It can revitalize your skin, your bones. It can even make your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. And if you click on that link below right now, you're going to get 51% off your order. So don't wait. Click on that link below and get your own collagen supply today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Today we've got sort of a two-part video series. So after watching this one, keep an eye out for part two, because in this video we're going to talk about Joe Biden falling apart. But in the next video, we're going to talk about how bumbling Biden is actually a symbol of the globalist political order itself unraveling. The fall of Afghanistan is proving that the globalist political order is itself old and feeble, increasingly senile, and indeed falling apart. So you definitely want to check out both videos today. So let's start with Biden falling apart right before our very eyes. The unraveling of Afghanistan, as it were, is turning out to be a symbolic picture of the unraveling of the man who was in charge of Afghanistan policy. That unraveling was on full display for all to see in an interview yesterday with ABC News' far-left liberal anchor, George Stephanopoulos. It was by all objective measures an absolute train wreck. I mean, it was quite literally cringeworthy to watch. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that this interview took place just after Biden gave a shockingly brazen and incoherent speech on COVID, where he threatened governors who refused to enforce federal mask mandates in schools. Rick Moran over at PJ Media said it best. In that speech, Biden was tougher on GOP governors who defy his mask mandates than he was with the Taliban. I mean, let that hit you. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis absolutely tore into that speech, accusing Biden of being obsessed with forcing kindergartners to wear masks, all as Kabul is burning. Now, you got a disaster effect in Afghanistan. You got a disaster at the southern border. You got the highest inflation in decades. And what does this moronic idiot do? He fixates on punishing states that refuse to force kindergartners to wear masks all day long. So he gives this rambling, bumbling speech, and of course he takes no questions from the press. He just turns around and walks away, and then he sits down with the Democrat Party operative, George Stephanopoulos, and that's when Biden, under the lights and in front of the cameras, that's when he just came undone. Take a look.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off, that was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, let alone the bumbling incoherence. This Biden guy, I mean, this is a guy whose mouth is constantly debunking his brain. I mean, he debates with himself. It's so bizarre. But of course, that's emphatically what did not happen, right? We left and they collapsed. Right. Yeah, we'll get into it more in the next video. But it frankly went downhill from there.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
Now, of course, he's contradicting himself. Okay, he just blatantly contradicted himself there. We all know that just 3 weeks ago, when asked if Afghanistan was going to fall, Biden said this.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
Biden just 3 weeks ago was denying all of this. Afghanistan is strong. It's going to be able to rigorously defend itself. There's no way the government's going to fall to the Taliban. So which is it? Which is it? Well, of course, it's both. And we know that because Biden isn't cognitively there. He's not in touch with reality. And that interview proves it. Take a look at what turned out to be the most cringe-worthy moment yet.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Not only was Biden snapping at Stephanopoulos, ridiculously inappropriate, it was also blatantly wrong. As of that interview, those scenes were from just 48 hours prior. They were literally just hours prior to that interview, and bumbling Biden thinks it's almost a week ago. And you don't have to guess how even the Biden team assessed that interview, because shortly thereafter, they put a lid on the press and announced that Biden was going back to Delaware for a long weekend. Obviously, you don't got to be a genius to conclude what Jim Garrity over at National Review concluded. Something is definitely wrong with Joe Biden. His baffling incoherence, his insistence that he wasn't correctly briefed, his denial that he wasn't warned by his military advisors, and now, oddly, his low profile. Obviously, we're questioning whether this guy has the capacity to fulfill his presidential duties. Take a look at this tweet. I think it says it all. The highlights from Biden's ABC interview. Did not recall being warned by U.S. military to not push ahead with his plan. Did not know U.S. had troops in Syria. Did not know certain events in Kabul happened this week. Did not know people were getting killed. I'm sensing a pattern. And yeah, to put it bluntly, this is a guy who appears done. He's done. And it's not just Biden that's cognitively and morally and emotionally falling apart here. It's his whole administration. Senator Josh Hawley is calling for the resignation of Biden's entire foreign policy and defense teams, who together are responsible for, quote, the worst foreign policy debacle since Vietnam. And now, gang, we're starting to see leaks like never before coming out of the White House. The latest is the bombshell report that Biden actually canceled a critical program that Trump put into place for evacuating Americans in crisis zones like Afghanistan. It was called the Contingency and Crisis Response Bureau, and it was designed to handle medical, diplomatic, and logistical support concerning Americans overseas. That program was reportedly canceled by Biden's State Department earlier this year, which now we see had in turn radically hampered the rescuing of Americans and continues to from Afghanistan. Biden decided to revoke the funding and send it elsewhere, and we can only imagine what nonsense that funding was spent on instead. But the key here is, why are leaks coming out right now? These are leaks that are coming out of the White House. Why are they coming out now? Well, before we answer that, make sure to click on the link below and register for our brand new Conservative Patriot Live virtual event on September 3rd and 4th, where I and several special guests will teach you to help build a society completely free from all things woke and to experience once again the nation that we know and love. Make sure to click on that link below right now to get your tickets, because we've got a special limited time offer for you. From now until this Friday, we're offering buy one, get one free tickets. So you heard that right. We are a movement. We want everyone to be there and bring their friends. And so for a limited time, if you sign up with any registration package, you'll get another one absolutely free to send to a friend. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. So don't worry, click on that link below right now and register for our new Conservative Patriot live event on September 3rd and 4th, and get ready to help build a society free from all things woke. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, so if we take a couple of steps back here, Biden's mental health was, of course, the devil's bargain that the Democrats struck in 2020. In pinning their hopes on a man that was clearly exemplifying cognitive decline. Again, remember, even Bernie's folks were saying that, right? I know the media's branded concerns about Biden's dementia a new conspiracy theory. Of course, this is the same media that pushed the Russian conspiracy hoax for 3.5 years, but the inconvenient truth in all of this is that even Democrats and other leftists have come out and openly questioned Biden's mental health. I mean, Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate back in 2016, she came out during the primaries and said it was absolutely clear that Biden's team was doing everything they possibly could to keep him as sequestered as possible from the press, to keep him locked into teleprompters when he spoke publicly. They didn't want any scrutiny of his mental health whatsoever. He was no way he was going to take any tests. And she actually cited the hashtag that trended on Twitter at the time called hashtag Biden's cognitive decline. You had the leftist hosts over at the Trap House podcast openly declaring Biden be senile during the campaign. This is emphatically not a concern specific to Trump supporters. This was the devil's bargain. And as part of that bargain, of course, was that Biden would agree to be a one-term president. But if your presidency already has this, terminus built into it, and if you're Kamala Harris, why would you wait? Why go through the hassle of an election to become president? Why not just get rid of this cognitively deficient guy standing in your way? And this is why more and more pundits are talking about rumors of a 25th Amendment removal of Biden. You will definitely want to check out my video I uploaded just a day or two ago on more and more Republicans coming out and openly saying that Biden has to either resign or they have to invoke the 25th Amendment, because he clearly is not in touch with reality. I know his aides have done everything they possibly can to cover this up, but obviously things are getting so bad they can't do that anymore. And so now what we need to be keeping an eye on is whether Kamala is going to step up. She's going to make her move, okay? Make no mistake, things are so bad for Biden. Biden could realistically resign this weekend, okay? He is obviously not well. And with all of these embarrassing leaks coming out of the White House, you gotta wonder if Kamala's people are ready to take the reins. Now, I have a part 2 for this video coming up, so make sure to check it out. And before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on a new poll that shows that were the 2024 election held today, Trump would crush Biden, as more and more Biden voters regret their 2020 vote. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.